In our last episode, God had spoken to Moses in a pretty miraculous way through the middle of a bush that was on fire, but that did not burn up. And it is in that conversation that God tells Moses, I'm going to be with you, but I need you to go back to Egypt, and I need you to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Because God had been concerned about the suffering that he had seen his people in for over 400 years. And even though Moses hems and haws and doesn't really want to go and gives 5 different excuses on why he wasn't the right man for the job, God still sends him and also sends Moses' brother Aaron to go and help him and support him and be with him. God provided so much for Moses in order to go and do the thing that God called him to do. And Moses finally goes back, says, let my people go, that they may worship me. Thus says the God of the Israelites, the God of the Hebrews. And Pharaoh did not just turn over the keys and go, okay, you can take my entire workforce. Have a nice day. No, like he sits there and he says, yeah, right. He actually makes their life harder. He makes them, double their workloads. He has them making bricks without straw. And P.S., for those of you who don't know this, you actually need straw to make bricks. And it was a very difficult time. Things got very intense. But then we can see that as Pharaoh is hardening his heart, God is working just to prove his greatness and to prove, listen, I am God. Now, we're going to pause for just a second and learn a little bit about Egyptian culture. So, Pharaoh actually believed that he was God. As ruler of the land, I am a deity. I am divine. I am God. And so, for Moses to come and say, I am that I am has sent me, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Israelites is saying, let my people go, this was offensive to Pharaoh's pride. And then through these 10 plagues that many of us probably are familiar with, it's actually a showdown between the gods, the false gods of Egypt, and then God showing how they have absolutely no power. They are worthless. They actually don't do anything. They're not mighty. And God debilitates false god after false god and what they stood for and what they represented through the various 10 plagues. And so it's one of those cool moments, like it makes for great movies, because we see, like, listen, God's really going to win this one, and no man can actually stand up and say, I am God, because there's only one God in the universe, and you ain't it. And even though some of these secret arts magicians were able to replicate some of the signs that Moses was showing them, and a lot of scholars believe that that was a demonically powered representation. If we go to chapter 8 to 18, and it says, but when the magicians tried to produce gnats like flies, gnats by their secret arts, they could not. Go down to 19. It says, the magician said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not listen, just as the Lord had said. See, even demonic powers run out. And as we're going to see through the 10 plagues, the demonic powers definitely ran out. And it was a hard thing for the nation of Egypt, and a lot of difficult things happened, but what was important is God's power was on display, and he was going to prove there is only one God of the universe, and I'm it. And my people are going to leave, and they're going to worship me.